Welcome to BFC Live, the daily video and podcast series of Business of Cannabis. BFC Live highlights the companies, brands, people, and trends driving the global cannabis sector. Learn more at businessofcannabis.ca. Coming up, a BFC Live conversation with Matt Maurer from Torkin Manes, talking about Crossborder Cannabis, which is the name of an event coming up this Friday, April 16th. Register at businessofcannabis.com. Matt Maurer from Torkin Manes, good morning.
Hello, Jay. How are you?
I am well. Yesterday we got news that I think all of our children will be home for, the term is indefinite.
It's amazing, isn't it?
I love indefinite.
It's nothing like spending time with your kids on an indefinite basis. No, it's good, but it's good except when you've got to do virtual school. You know?
Yes, I'm simultaneously doing IT for grade 1, grade 6, and Business of Cannabis all at the same time. But thank you for being here, because you and I and Hillary Bricken from Harris Bricken in Los Angeles have an event on Friday, which I want to talk to you about. I'm excited about this.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's we'll talk some cross-border. We'll find out what's going on up here. We'll find out what's going on down there, and everywhere in between, if you will. It's exciting. Hillary and I did one of these a long time ago, and you know, it just seemed like a good time to sort of, especially with what's going on in the States and you know, Mexico to some degree. Things are starting to move, so it's a good time to talk about these things.
Yeah, we connected with Hillary a few weeks back, and I know people really liked it because she's a dynamic lawyer, of course, but also has great perspective and a great story, starting in sort of Washington Washington State many years ago, then in LA, following what's happening in California, obviously, and we'll be talking about, or she'll be talking about, what's happening in the States. And I think the most recent news certainly was New York, and then New Mexico, and the people have been chirping about Virginia and Pennsylvania. There's a lot going on, but I hope you and us and her can talk about how that impacts what's happening here, what's happening there, and how it impacts itself. Like, are we going to be talking about a North American cannabis industry anytime soon, Matt Maurer?
I know you got to come on Friday to find out. No, there's definitely, and that's part of what the impetus was for this, was that stuff's happening, right? And I speak to Hillary on a regular basis, and vice versa, when we've got clients that are looking to do things down there, and she's got clients that are looking to do things up here, and that's happening. It's been happening for a while. It's happening more frequently now, and find out on Friday. But I think it's just going to be even more and more as we get closer and closer to federal legalization in the United States.
Yeah, and we've seen so much even over the past month and a half, really, again, with those states, but also with the Biden administration, and let's call them cross-border brands, if you will, or would-be cross-border brands, even though that's not really how they're operating. But we've seen Wana make obviously major inroads here, and Bang Chocolate here, which are US brands. We see many of the companies, especially the larger ones, Canopy and Afria, and the retail brands too, whether they be Fire and Flower or High Tide, really making the US part of their game plan, which I think is obviously very compelling from a market watcher audience, but also from smaller and larger brands. Like, what are the opportunities? How do you make that happen? Which I think we'll get into on Friday, which I think is great. Like, this is exciting.
It's going to be really exciting, and it'll probably just be, you know, if I had to guess, the first of probably multiple discussions that are going to take place, because this is going to be, you know, as things continue to change in Canada and get more mature and evolve, as it has been, you know, from funded capacity to grow space to getting a facility in Germany to retail rollout in Ontario, Cannabis 2.0. And what's the North American market look like? How are we going to play when America's wide open? Is there a place for Canadians there? Do Americans want to come up here? Is it going to be a free trade zone? Not all things we'll get into on Friday, but certainly things that are going to need to be discussed and will be discussed over the next period of time as this continues to develop.
Yeah, and I mean, you're going to be giving a presentation about Canada. She'll be giving a presentation about what's happening in the States, and then we'll be doing a sort of Q&A panel conversation together, and then we'll also do our breakout sessions as we usually do, so people who are in attendance can actually ask questions. And one thing before I let you go, and thinking about New York specifically, and how certainly in Toronto and Southern Ontario, we get a lot of TV from Northern New York. Like, I don't know if you're watching like Syracuse cable or Buffalo cable or Rochester. But imagine ads for brands that are on both sides of the border, filling up your TV and radio. I just love that. There must be people in Ottawa and Health Canada being like, how would we think about that?
Well, I can tell you how they think. There's a section right in the Cannabis Act.
I know there is.
I've already thought about that.
But how do you like? Tell me how they're thinking about it.
I don't think they are thinking about it. To be honest, like, I think this is part of the challenge, with regulatory in general and promotion. It's what don't they know about, and what do they know about that they're okay with? And that's kind of, we get this question a lot. So-and-so did this, can we do it? Or is it okay? And it's like, I don't know. Is it, has it been sanctioned, or is it that just no one ever found out about that and it's still no good to do? So, but you're right. It definitely, when you think about how pretty much every other product works and every other industry works in North America, and how, the Canadian market's so much smaller, and Canadian products are such a smaller segment. It's very interesting to see in cannabis what that's going to turn into, especially when you consider how much money all these licensed producers had to dump into their facility for a number of years. And they're not going to want California cannabis rolling up into Canada anytime soon, that's for sure. So
yeah, and probably upstate New York doesn't want Canadian cannabis rolling into.
If upstate New York's attitude would be, bring it in, we'll just put them out of business. Our stuff's better anyway. That's the American way, is it not, Jay?
Let's fight it out. Fight it out.
Well, listen, I have a question for you before we go.
Sure.
You're an American citizen, right?
I am.
So which hat are you going to wear on Friday? Which are you going to do, the Canadian hat or do the American hat?
I will wear. It's a good question. I hadn't even thought about it, but maybe I'll wear a Roots shirt. So just a subtle or a hip shirt. That'd be great. I'll just wear like a hip shirt, and so the Canadians will know. Like they'll know.
And a MAGA hat?
What's that?
And a MAGA hat?
Yeah, you know me. Matt Maurer, thank you for being here. We'll see you on Friday. As always, thank you for your expertise, and we'll connect with you down the road. And everybody can sign up on our website, businessofcannabis.ca/events. You can find it all there. You can register there as well. Matt, thanks so much.
See you on Friday, Jay.
That was a BFC Live conversation with Matt Maurer of Torkin Manes. If you liked this show, rate and review us wherever you heard it. Thank you for joining us on BFC Live today. We're able to do what we do thanks to our ongoing partners, including Cannabis at Work, Cannabis Benchmarks, Can Delta, Headset, Gallagher, and Torkin Manes.